What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show all about the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're here with us live in the chat, you can leave us a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show, but before we get to that, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angel Saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, including two of Idle Champions, Tieflingist champions.
Tieflingist?
I don't know. Farida and Havilar.
It tastes great and less filling, yes.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I can't say favorite. I don't want to judge anybody's choices. I don't know.
True. Some people are allowed to have bad taste, Erin. That's true.
They're my favorites, but I'm biased. I also play Cecilia on Westgate Regulars, a show by Dungeon Scrawlers on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. on Twitch.
Yeah.
B. Dave Walters, I say words about things. You can find me wherever fine streaming content is purveyed. All over the place. Silver, as of today, the finale of Silver and Steel is tomorrow. D&D Beyond, 6 p.m. PST. Writer and dungeon master of Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish, which is Thursdays on twitch.tv/D&D. I've also had about 3 hours of sleep, so this is going to go really well or really well.
Strap in. This is going to be a good show.
Honest
Even I don't know what's about to happen.
Without the filter.
Yeah,
What we're talking about today.
Literally starting at the bottom. We're going to find out where here ends up.
If you didn't think we were ever going to go back to Avernus, you were wrong. If I titled this episode Back to Avernus, but I know it's not the last time we do it, so the next one's going to be Back to Avernus 2, The Reckoning or something.
back to Avernus. Back to Avernus.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, in A Darkened Wish right now, there Asmodeus is playing a significant part in the story. So, like, he's with me everywhere. He's with me everywhere.
He's always just right behind me. Just
there
right
it
on the
is.
shoulder.
Just hey, don't fight it. Don't fight it, viewers. Just let Asmodeus into your heart.
He just wants you to be happy.
That's all he wants. He knows all. He knows what's best for you.
When I had him show up in my game, I literally just reached back and grabbed the pop figure and showed it on the camera to my players. Like, I really could have found a more intimidating photo on Google to show them besides this pop figure.
Especially because, Asmodeus is one of the deities of the Forgotten Realms and D&D in general that exists. There was a real cult of Asmodeus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a demon, a real demon, I suppose. And I love to think across the centuries of people that have worshipped this like existentially horrific thing, to have it have come down to a pop.
It's so cute.
Yeah, but I just
I
imagine
never thought about it like that.
Some like brutal Assyrian dude standing in front of a flaming brazier, and you're just like, as an Asmodeus. this is for my altar.
His demon god shows up in the fire. One day I will be a little toy of plastic.
And then my plan will be complete.
But only after I've been in a role-playing game for 30 years. I also don't know why Asmodeus talks like the ghost in like a Christmas Carol.
Arms like a
wacky
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go talk to Ebenezer Scrooge.
Wait, we all have to do it for gift purposes.
There we go. Gift purposes. Wacky waving inflatable arm play too, but there we go.
Wacky waving inflatable arm demon. Wacky waving inflatable arm. But he's a devil. I know he's a devil. Important lore.
Oh man,
yes.
They pay us for this.
So they might be regretting it, but he signed a contract. That's what Asmodeus taught me. Sign the contract.
I know he doesn't, but sometimes I just like to imagine.
Find the loophole.
I like to imagine after we do something like this, Dylan just slowly face palming.
This is the content the internet subscribed for, Dylan.
Yes.
Just let it happen.
Yes.
Let it happen.
So we got a new update coming to Idle Champions this week, which is going even further into the Descent into Avernus campaign. And this one's very specific, and we're going to be mainly going through the creatures this time because it's very spoiler heavy of what's going on. So enjoy the lore about the creatures. Don't ask too hard why they're there. Just, leave it to your imagination.
I will. Well, while we're talking about lore, I'll give you a little bit of history here, of some things that happened when we first conceived of Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish. It was ahead of the descent into Avernus, and now retroactively, this is the first time that I got the WotC NDA, and I got to like really see everything before it happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I was full, like, Puss in Boots eyes. When they were like telling me all the details, and I stitched so much of that into the book. That's why Elturel and all that stuff is a big part of it. And the way the production's timelines lined up, because comics are crazy, like it wasn't quite like I'd hoped, this seamless thing of where it would all hook together. But if you go back and read the comic Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish, now being familiar with the descent into Avernus, you will see a lot of names and places of things that now make a lot more sense. So if you read the book when it came out, thanks. Maybe it's time for a reread. And if you didn't read the book when it came out, that's cool. A dope book is waiting for you that has a lot of nods to the descent into Avernus. Yep.
That's a wonderful. I love that. Like when you can go back and reread a thing and it has a whole other level, it like changes and deepens the experience. So that is a wonderful silver lining to having.
Well,
especially
because at the time I was telling people, it's kind of like, y'all, these random NPCs aren't random. Just trust me on this. Like, check back in like a year or so, and then be like, what was that dude? I'm like, it is that dude. Ah! Yeah.
Well, somebody in the chat, Black Cat and normally I don't do this. I say everything in the show. I said, but which book is that? So again, it is A Darkened Wish, the graphic novel. Go grab that.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish, available at your friendly local game shop, or wherever fine comic content is sold. Even the graphic novels at like Barnes and Noble, but you can get it from a local place, get it local. If not, get it from wherever. You can even get it directly from IDW at idwpublishing.com.
Yeah.
I say as I choke to death. I can hear you. I'm about to die. I'm just getting water.
Okay. Don't Dave, don't die.
So
I will die as I've lived.
Choking.
Chilling Asmodeus.
Oh.
There's gonna be an episode where B-Dave just is making something over there the entire time and just leaning in and yelling facts at us. So
that's the sequel.
Okay, so the first part creatures that we're going to talk about are gnolls.
No.
And they're nasty men.
So let's just, on the off chance you don't know what a gnoll is,
There we go.
because it could happen. Gnolls are humanoid hyena people. They're really big, like 7-8 feet tall. They're kind of I don't know if it's canonical or if it's one of those some people believe, but it kind of that they have demonic heritage included within them. I think that kind of shifts from edition to edition, but they love to kill things quite a lot. They are fierce and terrible murderers, and they do worship a demon lord, which is not a point in their favor generally. But I'm biased because I definitely like the other side more.
You mentioned the thing about the size of a gnoll. For some reason, when I first started playing D&D and we ran into them, I was just picturing these tiny little men with hyena faces around. And so when I finally saw artwork of them like blooming over, so I'm like, no, no, don't do that.
You're like, that's a bad gnoll. Now I have my first question. Are gnolls always hyenids, or they're never like wolf based? They're always hyenid?
I don't know of any that are. I don't know. I've never seen one that is. I think they're always hyenids.
Yeah.
Although I believe the earlier art is a little.
I think they really play into the hyena thing, because in a book that could possibly be related to this in some section of it, talks about a Baelor that has a hyena head to specifically call out that it is fighting with the gnolls. Yeah, it seems kind of their thing. Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
I like hyena. I like gnolls because I like hyenas.
Valid.
Which honestly makes me want to be like, okay, but this part you should change because hyenas aren't like that.
And then they're like, hyenas also don't walk on two legs.
Yeah.
So
Fair. But
Although
okay. How cool would it be if there's, I have to look at how to pronounce this name every single time. So the demon lord they worship is Yinagu.
Yeah, I've never been able to say it.
No.
Gesundheit.
I sound like Nemo in Finding Nemo trying to pronounce sea anemone. Like I'm gone.
Okay, honestly, I before we started this, I googled it to find the pronunciation because I have to look at that.
Yeah.
I can't even spell it. And I wrote a book with a character named Thuglamorgorgus, which I can't say. I wrote all those dragonborn names, and I'm still like, where's the N go?
You know, it's because you don't have the proper maw. That's the problem. Yeah.
So he is a terrifying gnoll demon prince, and he replaced a different terrifying gnoll demon prince, whose name I have to, it's like Gorlick, I think. But hyenas are largely, there's 4 species that are extant of hyenas. 2 of them are in pair. They're pair hunters, so it's a monogamous pair. And in the animal kingdom, if you have a monogamous pair, they're usually about the same size and they're pretty egalitarian. Like the sex stuff comes up when it's time to make baby whatever's.
Gnolls are progressive. That's cool.
There's a 3rd type that's more like a wolf structure, where you have a pair at an alpha pair at the top, where the males might kind of fight in the hyenas to get more power, which is very Yinagu, but the alpha female is like, who's the oldest female? That one's in charge. And then spotted hyenas, which is the laughing hyenas, those are actually matriarchal. So the biggest, toughest female is in charge. So what I would love to find out is that there is a more patient demon lord behind Yinagu, who's like an old granny gnoll demon. Because I think that would fit with the real world inspiration and also just be really cool. That's my hyena yelling for.
See, I love this is why I love Erin, because she got real on that and like found like it was like, okay, this is the way you can tell good stories and stuff like that. And I'm over just like, I'd love to make some gnolls based on the ones from Lion King.
There are actually 2, and I think this should totally go with gnolls. But hyenas have, if you look at a hyena skull, so there's this piece here called the zygomatic arch that's like I'm gonna be remembering this wrong. There's this arch of bone that comes around here, and the muscles for your jaw slide under it. And hyenas are like this because they just have these massive muscles. They can crunch bone into nothing with.
They have the strongest mammalian bite pressure, and also this is true. Here I have my little Jawser-sized device, which is expressly about working that muscle in the face. Literally, that's this is like right there. So yeah,
temporalis, you can strain it.
It's true.
Chat, I'm learning things.
I'm looking to get a mammalian levels of bite pressure. That's our. I guess I've already got a mammalian hyena
crush
levels.
The bone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm living into my gnoll fantasy here. They are adorable creatures.
I love it. So yeah, the some of them that are coming here. So we got hyenas. I feel like we've talked about hyenas there.
Aaron's like, have we though?
Yeah, we could go.
We could talk about more hyenas.
We could talk about
hyenas.
So gnolls in general though. So like, what besides the look of them is very like gnollish, like hunting styles. Like what do they do?
In my experience, a lot of times gnolls are one of the first enemies that you kind of come across in a lot of fantasy stories. Like once you've kind of graduated past like gnolls and kobolds, like goblins and kobolds rather, where it's like first it's like little things, oh, a bigger thing. Because if you think about it, it is pretty frightening that you're like, it's a dog dude, but like a mean dog dude who can like fight like I fight, but also bite like a hyena bites, like it's a low bar of lore to kind of carry. So I think that's why they're so like ubiquitous in lore, that the idea that it's like, these wild people are around and like going to come and imminently come and carry all of us away.
Yeah.
And hyenas having such a good time and laughing and all that stuff is which I realize now all the wasted years that I have not very much been leaning into the gnolls laughing while they're doing terrible stuff. is the problem I should have to
True.
rectify now.
Well,
It's like, which hyena type did they take after? If it's Krakuda, they should laugh. If it's hyena, it shouldn't. No, I'm kidding. I think it's cool.
Are
It
they
should
like
laugh.
hipster hyenas? They have like scarves. And
There's
berets.
different genus and just different genre of hyenas.
But they're like, wait, are they like Werner Herzog hyenas? They're like, we have seen the futility of existence. We do not find it funny. we
Yeah,
are here
that's
to
a brown
destroy you.
hyena. A spotted hyena laughs, and a striped hyena just watches with a disinterested gaze because they'd rather be somewhere else.
audio listeners,
Science,
this is one
look
of
it
those
up.
moments where you need to come watch the VOD for Erin's expression when she was just like, no.
Wait, so which of those categories did the long-haired hyenas fit into? 'Cause there's a long-hair variety too. Did
Is it that the aardwolf, or is that the brown hyena has a long coat too?
Hmm.
So I absolutely made all those things up just for the record. I don't know anything about it.
but you said it authoritatively. That's the
Did,
thing.
you
We've
did.
established you and I are qualified to create lore. That we're like, here's how this works now. Because I
I
said
think aardwolves are, I think, and again, like, I'm interested in hyenas, but I'm not a hyena expert. I think aardwolves tend to be shyer. So if you wanted a kind of hyena that wasn't super into like fighting, like maybe it and its mate were just kind of hanging out in the background and avoiding the other hyenas. I don't know why you'd need this for your story, but if you did, an aardwolf hyena would be kind of cool.
oh, like adorable Lady and the Tramp hyena story place in the background.
I mean,
but
they could still bite your bone in half,
Yeah.
or
Right.
like your leg bone in half. So,
Yeah.
you know,
as one does.
Well, actually, going back to like the how like these are the things that you kind of fight after the goblins and the kobolds and stuff. I like, besides their height, I feel like they're also more terrifying for players to meet, because like these ones, like, no, they 100% eat people.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, goblins might have eaten a few people. It's like, no, these things like 100% ate every person that they killed.
Yeah, like that's what we're doing today is people. Yeah. But another delightful joy that you can sprinkle into some of your encounters are the Shusuva, which are hyena-shaped demons that were given to powerful gnolls as gifts from Yanogu after battles. So if your group, at your table, if they're getting a little overconfident, you're like, oh, okay, hang on a second,
it's like an undead hyena with a scorpion tail that paralyzes you.
Jesus.
That's terrifying.
I'm going to put 2 of those in my game, and I'm going to name them Bud and Lou, because if you get it, you get it. Thanks for coming with me on that, Erin.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that they're like, these are not sort of the way that they're described, right? They have this really intense hunting instinct that they're not fighting. They're there for that. So it's not a creature you can scare off, right? You can be terrifying enough. Goblins are like, F this, I'm out. But a gnoll is like, no, like it would be go against everything for me to go back down right now.
Yep. Or at least if they scatter, it's only long enough for you to lower your defenses for them to come right back in again. Yep.
Next up, we got Gnoll Kings. I think that kind of is self-explanatory. It's the big honcho. But what is a Shuzuva? Is that how you say
That's
that?
what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's the hyena-shaped demon with the scorpion.
Oh! I'm sorry. I was looking at the text document. My bad.
You're trying to make sure we do all the points.
Yeah. So
Nonsense.
that's the
Dylan
nasty
doesn't
man. That's the even nastier man.
Yeah, but those are straight up demons though. They aren't actually hyena. But they tend to be gnoll adjacent. I love
made out of. I thought they were made out of like gnolls that made Yanagu happy. Like,
they
oh,
were
good, you dyed it. Or they're given to. Okay,
They're given to
something else
gnolls.
then.
I mean, maybe both. Por qué no los dos? Like, I can definitely see a gnoll recycling program where Yanogu's like, I'm gonna help you and him. Like, this is like, I'm paying it forward.
Good job. You get to hunt even harder now.
I mean, let's be honest. If if the skies open up and a beam of light shone down on you, Erin, and God was like, Erin, you have pleased me. Here's a boss scorpion tail. You would take it. You would take it. You would be like, yay, I will smite the heretics, oh Lord.
Not gonna lie. I have a list of people I'd like to sting with a scorpion tail, waiting for just such an event.
But now I'm picturing you like going up to like a religious place or something like that with a giant scorpion tail. Y'all are not going to believe this.
Praise the Lord. I appreciate you've got a list of people you would sting. I have a probably much shorter list of people I wouldn't sting. Everyone else.
The safe list.
Exactly. Everyone else gets it with my divine stinger. So yeah, that's
That'd be a great thread. It's just like, listen, you better not piss me off because one day I might have a scorpion tail. And guess what? You've made the list. What is the show?
Watch your back. Yeah, but a Shasuva, these creatures, they'd appeared before a Null Warband under one of three conditions. After they'd won a great victory, it would appear in a cloud of billowing, odorous smoke. In normally the strongest fang of Yenogu present and bond to them. They responded to their commands. The second method was they could try and summon one directly. That's 50-50. And finally, it could be called to the material plane by a shaman or witch doctor, which I guess is a form of null cleric of Yenogu, where you just asked really nice. And then again, maybe it came.
How do you ask Yenogu nicely? Like, what is nice to a demonic hyena god?
Who's your Yenogu? Just tell me Cerberus on Yenogu.
This is the thing I got, because whether it's true or not, Shasuva apparently means returner in the Null language. And it says the demonic undead were known as returners as they were thought to be the fiendish incarnations of Yenogu's greatest disciples. Okay. So whether it's true or not,
that's pretty cool though.
Super Null fighter might be dreaming.
It's a super shredder,
as a scorpion demon.
That was Kevin Nash in that costume. Also, film history. Super Shredder was that was Kevin Nash in the costume. Sorry, Big Sexy.
Okay. Big Sexy. Okay,
Big
so
sexy.
let's get into Yenogu. Did I say that right? Yenogu.
I think we're all getting better at saying it.
I just copied the sound you guys made.
With my face.
With my face.
I made face noises.
So yeah, what is up with the Yenogu person thing?
The ruler of ruin. I mean,
it's on his name. It's on his business card.
I mean, I feel like the flail is his business card, but like imagine he just like rolls up with this like morning star and just like hands you like a crumpled card that even he just kind of like rolled up and put in his pocket.
So hyenas, interestingly, do something called pasting, which is a scent marking technique. So yes, it's just a piece of paper with this like waxy, stinky goo on it, and that tells you who he is if you're a Null. Otherwise, it's just a moment of confusion.
I mean, it's gonna tell you who he is, whether or not he's
I don't think you need it, right? A giant, like this says he's 14 feet tall.
Yep.
So giant demonic Null with this huge flail shows up. I think your questions aren't going to be who is this guy.
Well, I went with the idea that B Dave put out of the flail being his business card. Like he's got it he's got it printed on there. So like he walks up, smacks one of his Nulls dead with it, and just chucks it at you. Read the corpse.
True. Just looks. Yeah. Yep. He in the 5e art, he looks almost like more bat-like to me. Yeah, honestly.
He does. Yeah. He's like got that real far back mouth.
Mm-hmm. Like little like pug nose again. But think about it. I mean, he's the Null, the Lord of Savagery, the Beast of Butchery, the Ruler of Ruin, the Destroyer. But just think about it. And he's got his triple-headed flail, which is kind of his signature move. But think about it. Maybe all this time he really did just want tummy Cerberus. Has anybody tried Scritches?
Right?
Yenogu walks up, blebbing, just
malerp. That's all he wanted. All he wanted was a malerp, and you roll initiative, and then all right, so here this is a quote about Yenogu. Yenogu is special because he embodies killing. He has few ambitions beyond the visceral thrill of rending the soft flesh of his enemies and drinking the deep hot blood from their bodies. I mean, who among us though?
Somebody is hangry.
Apparently you are you when you're hungry.
There we go.
He craves nothing more than the utter defeat of all those who stand against him, and is relentless in his pursuit of feeding the emptiness of his existence with the frantic screams of those he slays. Hold on a second. I was joking before when I was all the futility of existence. And apparently that really is a thing. Butchery is the preventer of Yanogu, and his single-minded pursuit of annihilation makes him a dangerous force in the infinite layers of the abyss. And that's from the Demonomicon of Igwilv.
Yeah.
Oh, he a mean boy.
You mean boy.
Like, this is a weird, like, praise to give Yanogu here, but one thing I've noticed looking at the Demon Lords of the Abyss, a surprising number of them are like, I am the biggest, most strongest one. It's like, you guys could fight it out and find out, but they never do, right? And Yanogu's like, I am the big Knoll guy. At no point in any of this is Yanogu like, actually, I am the biggest and strongest. He's just like, I got my niche. I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm the best at that niche.
Lord.
It's I imagine Avernus being like a really broy gym room. Everybody's repping and they're all like, oh, pushing it, but like looking out of the corner of their eyes, seeing like what everybody else is pushing type thing, you know, at the same time. And then like Asmodeus is like this really smarmy coach secretly telling all of them they're the star player. Yeah. That is just like, you know, if just the other teammates would just get out of the way and let you shine.
Dave, you posted a GIF last week. It was like internet arguments, and it was two dogs barking at each other through a fence, and then the fence moves and they stop. I want to just superimpose Orcus and Demogorgon on top of those.
Throw Gratz in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got the 9 hells where it's like everybody knows where they're standing, and maybe they don't think they should be standing there, but it's pretty clear where you're standing. Whereas the Abyss is just a free for all that never ends.
Yep. It is the song that just playing in the background with more terrible things.
That is hell. Yeah.
No, you're right about that. There's a lot of flexing and posturing. A lot of like, you know, do something, you do something, do something, you do something. Why don't
So
we
you got Yanogu's like, I got this over here, I'm doing this one.
Yep.
Go murder people.
So this is a question that I have that I don't know if you guys have the answer to, or if it's even out there. But did Yanogu start was a demon lord, or did he become a demon lord?
That's a good question. I know he was not originally. He's not the creator of the Knolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that he is what he is. I don't think he was ever mortal.
Okay.
I don't believe.
Okay.
Yeah, although his area of the abyss is known as the Seeping Woods or Death Dells.
Death Dells.
Death Dells sounds charming, honestly.
It does.
Doesn't Death Dells sound like a place you would go for like a hipster Halloween thing where everybody kind of dresses vaguely like they're going to be in a Danny Elfman movie?
I don't know. Death Dells to me sounds like a metal band, but that covers 50 songs.
Oh my god.
I was about to say that needs to be a thing, but I'm sure it is a thing.
It's probably a thing.
The internet does not fail me, but it weren't though. Could you imagine, like, tell me who wrote the book of love? That would be so incredible.
And then Yanogu comes out, yeah.
But then this like giant oversized Gwar helmet where Yanogu still puts on a helmet.
I love it.
Like, yeah, but I do not think he was ever mortal. I don't think.
Okay.
No.
I think he's only the demon lord.
Let's move on from Knolls. Talk about some of our fiendish friends that are coming with this update. Before we get into some viewer questions. What's up?
Just one last before we go.
Oh yeah.
There's like some Yanogu art that if you Google Yanogu, he's YEENOGHU for our audio listeners. If you look at the images, there's one that's from like 2nd edition where he almost looks like satyr-like, almost like more like he's like a pig creature, and he's just like bounding towards someone to do murder, and he looks so happy.
Okay,
He
wait,
does.
I want to see this.
Hang on, wait. There you go. I'm about to drop it in chat here for you guys. It's an ugly link, but there you go. Look at this guy.
Oh,
wait,
God.
I'll even drop it in Twitch chat here. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he look so happy? He's like, yay!
I've got spinning discs on my flail. Yay!
Yay! Yep.
I love it.
That's
There is an
cool.
older edition one on here. I think that might actually be from like first edition, and I can't even describe how this thing looks because he's super thin and gangly, and he's just kind of got this flail. He's like, "Hey, how's it going, Demon Lord? How's your Tuesday?"
I love the old art.
Oh,
Like when
yeah.
we were talking about Orcus, like if the evolution of Orcus over time from like doodle in the margins to existential demon menace. Oh my goodness, first edition. Yanogu, he's so cute.
He needs
That
the
was
pants.
the one where you asked if he was ever a wolf. I was like, let me look at this. Oh, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He just need the pits.
Yeah.
So for the demon side of things or fiend side of things, I mean this doesn't have much lore, but there are abyssal rats, crabs, flies, and sturges that are coming with this update. So look forward to that and having some fun.
Mhm.
But then we've got the Bolezara.
Come on, you can do it.
Belezo. Words.
I would either say Bullazao or Bullazao personally.
Okay.
But these are words that have been read and not said. So
Bullazao. We'll go with that. What is a Bullazao?
I have
they're
to
like
see this
these
word.
like
I can't.
weird goat-headed satyry things.
Oh, I've used this
Ah.
thing. I just never
Yeah.
gave it. I just never named it.
Yeah. It is kind of a mix between like Pan's Labyrinth and like half the metal covers of the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude's metal as hell.
Yeah. It's pretty neat looking though, honestly, if you're thinking about it. Yeah. That's what a Bullazao is.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? One of my players who's here in the chat right now, and his birthday. Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday, Cat.
Hey.
His character just decimated one of these things with a Holy Avenger and Descent into Avernus, and it was badass. And I'm not gonna lie, it was badass. But yeah, so what's we got any lore little tidbits on these little
You're like, I'm pretty sure you're like, what's the deal with Bullazao?
what's the deal with Bullazao? Why can't you ever bring him on a plane?
They got these horns and these tails. What's the deal with Bullazao?
Oh my goodness.
They again, they have a barbed tail, this like big old spear. Again, they're just more like demons, goat demons. They are manifestations of animalistic rage, and they embody the violence of nature, which is also really metal. Everything in Avernus is metal. Like I'm gonna use that adjective a lot, but it's just a metal place. Up to and including the City of Change, which is literally a metal place. Yeah. They lurk in deep canyons and lofty crags, and many find a place in the ranks of the Demon Lord's army. So you can like find them just kind of like out and about. And their two major traits in their stat block, if you're playing the home game, is bloodlust, and they're repulsive. Which means they're extra repulsive. If the game took the time to clarify the fact that these ones in particular, they're like, because it didn't with the Cybriax.
I was gonna say, here's the measure. Does the Cybriax have it?
The Cybriax
doesn't.
does not have repulsive in its stat
Jeez.
block, but Bullazao does.
It's a passive trait.
True. Part of it is not. It's a feature, not a bug.
Yes, exactly. I do love this sentence on the wiki for it. The demonic breed was commonly referred to by planar scholars as, quote, Baphomet's perfect children.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love
Bahamut
that.
being one of Yanagu's particular foes.
Ah, yeah.
Back around.
See, I feel like Baphomet would work Yanagu though, because at the risk of being meta, Yanogu's CR13 and Baphomet's like CR25. So
It's like Yanagu's like, we're enemies. And Baphomet's like, who are you again?
He literally, I feel like he would just pick up, I was going to say pick up a bone, but it's probably just a leg of a person that Baphomet has because reasons and just yeet it.
Oh, see,
And,
I just pictured Hulk just flinging a Loki just back and forth.
Like, you're like, yeah, we're nemesis. We're more like frenemies. And it's all just this elaborate
Or
way to
that,
get
or that
attention
freaking meme
Baphomet.
from Mad Men where in the elevator, he's just like, I hate you with every fiber of my being. And John Hamm's just like, I never think about you.
Yeah.
So, okay, next up we got the Balgura. Or Bargle. I can never say it!
It's just,
Bargura.
my favorite part of all of this is listening to you say them.
God dang it.
Uh,
What
There
happens
was-
when a dyslexic ADHD person tries to pronounce D&D words?
in your
It's
defense,
charming.
these were words that were never meant to be said.
Yeah.
They're big old chunky gorilla boys.
They are.
Yeah.
Upbeat story
fun.
about my roof being replaced fame.
I,
My son
please,
saying
you
it
know,
sounds like it.
please
There's
bless,
an
bless
angry bogle on the roof.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, again, so oddly specific yet accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, these ones, what I know they had an interesting piece of lore that I used in one of my games, but I can't quite remember what it is right now. Because they have one of their abilities is actually like they have geese, like they can actually just make you do stuff. And it was really weird to see that in this giant, like what I thought was just going to be this demon that just went around and just ripped stuff up like King Kong, but they're actually pretty intelligent, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
I find most of like the demon lords and things of that nature are, they just have like other like negative traits that go along with those things.
I guess
you know,
These
yeah,
are, what
yeah.
are these? These are a
Barl-
CR5?
Barlgura, I think so. Although I need to hear the sun thing just one last time while we're here, while it's topically relevant.
Sounds like there's an angry bogle on the roof. Woof.
Woof.
Yeah, the
I
woof.
love that this little roticism. It's
The
all
woof.
gone now.
See,
Was on
now
fire.
I'm nervous with every new name.
Yeah,
Chasme?
they were Sherpa.
Is that how you say that one?
I
Casme?
always say Casme, but I
Casme?
don't know.
I'd probably say Casme, because otherwise Chasme, they have to show up in like a pink shirt with the
I was
collar
gonna
pops.
say.
Hey, what's up? I'm Chasme.
And then Chasme, like my dad owns a dealership.
Yeah,
We sell war machines in Avernus.
yeah. It's like this high. Like they don't even have a neck anymore. My
Kind of-
dad sells war machines in a that just got up with me.
Which I love even more because they look like mosquito demons, right? Like
Yeah.
Mosquito demons.
particularly
Two words that should not be near each other.
I mean, because it's the same word. It's like moon
so
moon.
repetitive.
You know? Yeah, moon, like mahi mahi, you know?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's nasty. Don't want it. Mm-mm.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Oh,
and then
apparently they're flies, not mosquitoes, but they do have the
I mean, but we both know they
Proboscis.
drink blood.
100%.
Yeah.
What doesn't drink blood in the abyss?
Just also, dear viewer / listener, although if you're viewing, you're listening too. if you ever got some time on your hands, go to the Forgotten Realms wiki and look up anything that's been in the game from the beginning, and they usually have it categorized by 5th, 4th, 2nd, and 1st edition, and just click through the variable art of things and how it's evolved over time.
Oh my god, I just did that for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, back in the day, they did just look like it was like the Fly. They were just like
Yeah,
they
but
had
if
like
the fly never missed arm day.
if like the Fly lifted but was mad but he couldn't, but he's like stuck like Batman 92, like that is what
Like-
he's upset about. Yeah.
Like the 5th edition one, I get this sound in my head of them being like, "Bzz, I'm a demon. Bzz." But this one, like, I just picture it knocking down a door and going, "Ah!"
It is like Henry Rollins crossed with Baxter Stockman back in the day. That is true.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that's
wow.
terrifying. No,
Mhm.
thank you. What if
Mhm.
yeah, they look like that. Dretches are up next. Speaking of nasty men.
Stinky little rat demons.
Yup.
Yep. Had my fair share of having to fight dretches over time. Super gross little things.
This
Yeah,
is one of the few demons I've used in a book.
Oh.
You call them rat demons. See, to me, dretches are almost more like pig demons.
Yeah, I meant more like they're little and they're gross and they're scampery and in the way. They don't look like a rat. You're right. They're
to me, they're like if Tim Burton remade Pinocchio and this was like the island, then this is what the kids turned into.
100%,
no.
especially because in the fifth edition art for it, when it's just kind of like standing there and it's like face is all pink and its body all gray, it does look like, can you call my mom? I want to go home. Yeah.
Mom, I lost my new watch in the DZ Discovery Zone ball pit, but they won't fish it out.
that was oddly specific again, yet accurate.
Listen, it may it may have been a personal experience. Leave me alone.
like the angry Balgoa. That was that was rooted in fact. Yeah.
The scene I had these in was actually one in, and it got sort of left behind when a greater demon summoned a bunch, and this was the one that survived. And so they're trying to figure out what happened because a bunch of people were dead. But it's Havilar and Zuni and then Lorcan, the Frida's devil patron, and they're trying to question the Dretch, but Zuni is like, toy. And so before they can get all the information out of the Dretch, Zuni grabs it and like throws it against the wall. So yeah, you're kind of, if you're a dog the size of a draft horse, they're kind of squeaky toys too. Especially if you're, genetically predisposed to hunt demons at all costs. And they squeak when you bite them.
I mean, everything does.
Until they stop.
Okay, so we're getting close to chat question time. So I'm gonna leave it up to you to which one you want to go over last. We have the
Tanaruk,
the rocks, or
definitely,
or pit fiends.
Definitely the Tanaruk. Everybody knows pit fiends. Fly, you fools. Pit fiends. The thing I like most about the Tanaruk is they were orcs whose blood had been tainted by an evil outsider. The thing is, if you look in their stat block, even though they look like super metal and they're all monstrous with this huge sword, their height as listed is 4'6".
What?
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure that's a typo, but that's what it says, and therefore that is what it would be for me from now on, that they'd be like tiny little rage orcs. They were like mixed with demons.
They didn't specify what kind of evil outsider tainted their bloodline. Like, it could have been a Cathme or a dragon.
Okay, sorry, that was me making. I had to like zoom in really quick. Okay, they are categorized as medium creatures, at least. I was like, if this says small on here or tiny, I'm gonna lose it.
Yep. No, they're definitely intended to be like, people size and look all like furious and stuff. But again, that's not what's written there.
200 pounds.
I mean, 4'6", like SpongeBob Brutal Pants. This like brick of angry demon orc.
Can someone okay, I know I'm referencing a lot of memes today, but the one with the shorter like UFC guy looking up at the announcer woman who's like a lot taller than him, just put a Tanaruk there.
Exactly. That's basically it. Yeah. I think that was Manville to Anvil, I think, in that image, but I could be wrong. But yes, and that's the thing. They're demon orcs. They don't have any other like special stuff other than like they're like orkier orcs.
But the 5th edition artwork is badass. Like, it is great. Really cool.
Only made better when you think that dude's 4'6". Yeah. He skipped height day.
Skipped height day. Oh.
I want a Tanaruk who is wearing platform heels.
Like full gaga platforms?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Thigh-high platform boots of butt kicking.
Also CR5, which I appreciate. Some of these like seemingly more disposable creatures are all around that level where it's kind of like you can challenge a party relatively early with one of these, that they can be traipsing through the woods and they see this thing stalking through and they're like, oh ho, friend orc, and he's like, I'm not I'm not at all.
One of the things I do like doing that though is like having a CR5 thing show up when the party is like lower level than that, and it just kicking their butt, and then waiting like maybe 6 levels or so and having 30 of them show up or something like that, because they remember getting their butt kicked, not that they're more powerful than it now. So you get that little bit of fear, but it's going to be a fun encounter.
That's one of the best ways to introduce any new villain. It's like, you know, in the modern research of Doctor Who, this way you got to meet the one Dalek, you got to meet the one Jim Hadar, the one Terminator. You're like, I'm afraid. You're like, actually, there's lots of them. No, I'm really afraid. But yeah, that is true for people, again, playing the home game.
Real quick, I love the idea that you say that, but it makes it sound like Idle Champions isn't a home game. Like they gotta go somewhere to play it.
I'm like, it is available on mobile. You can play on the go.
Hey,
you can play in the home,
wherever
office,
you're managing to go,
wherever you are. I mean, when I say the home game, I mean the tabletop game. Yeah. You can pitch your characters against, like you said, like a CR 5 or 6 monster and have like a climactic battle. Like you can just like drop a wyvern on them and they can fight just as hard as high level people are against like an ancient like great worm red dragon or something, which is dope. Also, there is the Tanaruk has an audio clip to teach you how to pronounce it, and it's Tanaruk. Yep,
I like that roll. It's a good one.
The back of the throat. Okay, yes.
So let's see what chat's been up to while we've been laughing and carrying on, having a good time.
Hello, chat.
Garwar is first in here with comments on B-Dave's sleep schedule. 3 hours, so more than usual.
First of all, I feel so seen, Garwar. I feel so seen.
I don't know if it was said on Idle Insights last week when I was on there with Dylan, or if it was before or after, but at some point Dylan and I have said, yeah, I think B-Dave's like vampire character is actually him and his role play is B-Dave.
No,
Whoa.
Vampires are completely a myth. No, that is
that's hypnotizing.
Just need you to forget all about that. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of vampires, Vancouver by Night says, is it wacky waving inflatable NPC update? Imagine all the enemies in Isle Champions coming across the screen and they're all
I'm just saying, Dylan, if you're in chat, there you go. I realize that their arms are all little on there, but they can wacky wave. They can wacky wave. Wacky waving inflatable character update.
Love it.
I think this was in reference to B-Dave getting some water in the distance, but Roll Positive Gaming says combo cooking and RP stream.
I mean, hey, look, we already got the pancake show with Lee, right? So
That's true.
It's true. Yeah, we just got to combine them.
They would literally cross the streams, literally. But it's like, you know what? Like, I'll call in to Lee's stream, but just put me on a speakerphone off camera. You know, I'm like, let me tell you what I think, Lee. You know?
Okay, hang on. I have to do some typing into our chat right now because Vancouver by Night wants B-Dave to pronounce something.
Zamitsi.
There it is. There it is. You knew what it was. You knew what. It saves me from typing. Let's see.
It wowould have been worth it to try and get you to pronounce Zamitsi though, but yes.
I wasn't even gonna try. Cassius335 says, do gnolls ever have that one aspiring leader with a lion head? Yeah, I'm sure it happens. You know.
There was a disturbing post floating around about proving that Scar basically ate Mufasa based on like lion behavior, and I was like, I need to know that. I need to know that.
Scar walks up while Simba's crying. It's like, all right, you might want to get out of here. It's gonna get gross.
Run, little cub, because honestly, he also would have eaten Simba if we're just like down to it. So yeah, this whole like, although I guess lions don't commit premeditated murder and frame other lions,
let alone have the voice of Jeremy Irons. Let's see. Zen Zero Byte says, it's nice to hear authors unable to pronounce their own creations.
To be fair, I didn't make Thoglor up. That is the purple dragon of Cormyr. which is established in very deep lore. But I did write about it a lot, and it took me a long time to remember how to spell it and say it. And then it's been a while and I forgot again.
I understand that life. I'm happy that I have a show called Champion Psychology now because I can finally remember how to spell psychology.
There's something to be said for practice.
Yes.
Also, I can still say with just a third yesh. So
Well, two things. One, I don't know if you do this, Erin, but I will very carefully spell out my problematic word exactly one time, and then I add it to the dictionary, so I don't have to think about it anymore.
Oh my god!
I used to do that. Not with things that are hard to spell, but like when I had to write papers in college, and there were certain classes that were required for my major, and I didn't want to take them. So like there is a works and ideas of great anthropologists, which is basically here's a bunch of old white guys who never left their office and decided things about people. And so I had to write a lot of papers about that stuff. It was a controversial requirement. But I would get so tired of it. I would write like this stupid jerk, and it would fill in the guy's name, or I was like some dumb stuff and it was the Enlightenment or something, because I was just tired of it. And then I forgot to take it out. And my sister inherited my computer, and she was like, why every time do I write this dumb stuff, it fills in the Enlightenment? So that's about the time I stopped doing it, because I never ever cleared it out.
Although important thing, before we go on too far, you have not properly hyped that show that is on tomorrow.
That's true.
Treavor.
Listen, it's weird. I'm bad at hyping my stuff.
That's what I'm here for. Literally, that is my mutant ability. So please proceed, enlighten us.
So every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, we're doing Champions of Psychology. I am hosting and not saying as much because there's two people on there that know way more about it than I ever will and are way more apt at talking about it, which is Mitra Jordan and Dr. B. And they are fantastic people who are going to be openly talking about mental health and gaming. And it's been an absolute joy working on that show so far. I cannot wait to do more of it.
What time is it tomorrow?
11 a.m. Yeah, so tune in. We're also working on getting the podcast feed going because I can't do stuff without it being a podcast.
Free content, recycling.
There you go. Abyssal _Icarus says, I thought Yanogu was female, or assumed that because hyenas are matriarchal.
His should be.
I
mean, to be fair, it's only the one species that's matriarchal. So you could be like, oh well, it's not a laughing hyena, it's a striped hyena. In which case there's sort of either like I said, either they're pairs that hunt separately and don't have a pack, or it's a pack with a female and a male that are kind of leading things.
Also,
no, goes a dude.
Again, he's a different category.
Although,
he's a demon hyena. Completely different thing.
To be fair, spotted hyenas, it is really hard to tell a male from a female, because the females are actually slightly bigger and they have a structure called a pseudopenis. So you really have to be very up close with that hyena.
Oh, there's plenty of people on the internet with only pseudopenis.
So it could be that who's been female all along and it's just like not processed that nobody's recognized that.
Wait, is he like
doesn't care?
Is he like a drag hyena?
Well, hang on. Vancouver by Night's got to go here about the matriarch Noel. It has a handkerchief wrapped around its head and butterscotch candies in her pocket. The grandmother Noel.
You clearly knows you haven't been eating enough. You're just. That's why.
How many adventures have you eaten today?
She's like,
you have to get the marrow too.
Vancouver by Night comes back and says, we need a Planet Earth narrated by B. Dave Walters.
Well, until then, watch the one narrated by Snoop Dogg. It is choice.
Oh, I do love this. Jay put in here. This is when we were talking about Noel's eating people and whatnot. What's for dinner tonight? Oh, the paladin we killed the other day might make a roast. Obo Lauren is here as always, and thank you for being here. I always appreciate it. This is her talking about my categorizing of these people: nasty, nastier, and even nastiest man. I like that. I will use that.
It's a sliding scale.
On the topic of scorpion tails, Obo Lord says, "Yeah, I'm not denying a tail from God."
Right? He hath blessed you, Lord. Imagine, while you're playing the oboe, if like people aren't paying attention, you're like, bang! Like,
That'd be
Bring you back
amazing
to
for
it.
the pair of you of the paralysis one too. It's like, no, sit down and pay attention.
There it is.
Oh
yeah.
my
Like
gosh.
stop
God.
squirming in church.
Oh
Boom.
man, if it's a paralysis tail, my list is so much longer.
Again, and my list of not stinging got a lot shorter. Yeah. Going full shell up on people. Just come down behind them.
Oh, hey, I was right. My buddy Kyle is here. Kyle asks, do any of these demon lords have a hand in writing the Book of Vile Darkness? This is just a question that he has.
Oh, this is not something I know canonically. Who would write the Book of Vile Darkness?
Yeah, I feel like it just is.
That is an interesting one. Is like, okay, where's the scene like Bilbo writing there and back again, where someone's like, all right, everything's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there somebody who's canonically written the Book of Vile Darkness?
Phil is just, I'm going to say this is me going blind on my bid, that it's just something like the combined sins of all the sentients across the plains scribe the Book of Vile Darkness, you know?
That's metal AF.
Also, happy birthday, Kay.
I get the impression Vecna did it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I know the Book of Vile Darkness was like in Vecna's hand.
That
Speaking of
worked out
Vecna's
great.
hand,
That worked out great for this guy. You're saying this hand
Oh,
wrote
wait,
the
wait,
Book
wait.
of Vile Darkness?
now
Nope,
watch as
hold
Treavor
on.
turns jelly.
Wind it back. The first content of the Book of Vile Darkness was penned on words I don't know. Earth? How do you say the Greyhawk world? Is it just
I have no
Earth?
idea.
I always call
Earth?
Orth.
By a Vasharan spellcaster millennia before the 14th century DR. So it is a multi-authored work.
Yeah.
So then a priestess of Nerul tripled the content, more evil clerics, then yeah.
That
There
does
are only
just
6
seem
perfect copies.
that
but it
does
does seem
just, like just like edgelords though, honestly. That you're like, I'm gonna make the Book of Vile Darkness so much more vile and more darker.
More vile, more darker. This fall, coming to you.
So Balzabul made edits to one. The slug archdevil. My least favorite archdevil.
Here's the thing. Would an archdevil be happy or sad about being your least favorite archdevil? Like, do they feel like they're doing a better job or worse?
I don't know. I'm not scared of him. I just
Next
think
week's topic.
He's kind of sad and gross.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, there we go.
With his whittle pseudo penis.
Oh God. The last thing I'm gonna call this text document is Jay, because it's so freaking good. We were talking about the height of the Tarok. Jay put in there in all caps, "That's shorter than me."
There you go. There you go.
I love it.
Maybe that's it. It's like tiny little orc bros that just got picked on constantly and just died mad, you know? But could you imagine you still came back as a demon and they
Short,
still
yeah.
made you little?
God.
You know, that you're like, I'll have my revenge. Oh man.
At least I got some pretty sweet horns, though.
Yeah. Like that like freaking gigantic sword is just the size of a long sword normally, that you're like, oh little bro, you're so mad.
Oh,
He's doing a mad.
he's doing a mad. Do you need some tweets? Okay, that is unfortunately all the time we have for lore this week. Erin, B. Dave, where can people find you and what awesome stuff are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can see me on Wednesdays at 6:30 on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, where I play Cecilia, who's definitely not a warlock.
Big
I'm all
death.
over the place. Follow me at B. Dave Walters. I abdicate my time to Treavor to hype his new show one more time.
Do it.
I am Treavor Bettis. You can find me on Difficulty Class Podcast every Friday and on Twitter at the Treavor. And you can also find me on Tuesdays on Champions of Psychology with Mitra Jordan and Dr. B, talking about mental health and gaming and having some good conversations about it. It is not therapy. It is not a substitution for anything like that. Read the disclaimer before we start the show, please. But yeah, so thank you to Jay for moderating in the chat as always. You're doing a fantastic job, and the chat, thank you for chiming in and doing stuff like that. I always appreciate that. And thank you to Codename for letting us talk about some D&D and whatever else we do here that we hope you like.
Teach you things about hyenas.
Yeah.
And pseudo penises.
And
That's the word you're gonna.
pseudo-penis.
You're gonna. You know what? The next
I
time,
didn't
like
even
somebody's.
explain what that is. It's a little. If you were a human woman, it is terrifying.
The next time someone is being a jerk on the internet, just let that word echo through your mind. Pseudo penis.
If you missed any part of today's show, it goes up as a podcast at 2 p.m. today. And for those podcast listeners and also for viewers here, if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to talk for us to talk about that's from Idle Champions, you can send those suggestions into championsoflore at codenameentertainment.com, and we would love to take a look at it. Let's see. Improvised Champion is going to be happening today at 1 p.m., so be sure to stick around for that. Bardic Inspiration is back this week. I cannot wait to hear what song they're going to be working on and making. And yeah, I'm just going to do it one last time. Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday,
I don't get to see you
kid.
today, so I'm going to say happy birthday to you in front of a bunch of people.
Wait, Erin hasn't said it yet. You got to say it to him
I
too.
said it
Erin.
earlier, but I will say it again. Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thank you.
So much nicer when you say it.
It's true. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this week. Until next week, Champions out.